What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Eddie's World of Figures. Today, I'm going to be reviewing a very special figure that I've had in my collection for a very long time now. But before we get into our review, I do want to give a little bit more about this figure and the guy that's in front of you. This is the myth, the legend, the one and only Bruce Lee, but now in figure form. Now, I do want to point out before we get started, this is the 50th anniversary edition, or aka the Legacy 50th anniversary version, because there was the original release that came out back in 2016, but I do want to do a quick dive in this guy. And I know I'm very late to the party. Many people have made this review, but I figured it's time for Eddie's World of Figures to do his take on it. So let's get right into this. All right, starting out, we're going to be going over the box. And as you can see, it's not the same as your typical Dragon Ball, any other SS Figuarts box. This has its own spin on it, just specifically for Bruce Lee. Like you see, has this really nice yellow tone to it. Got the nice Bruce Lee logo on it. Also letting you know this is the Legacy 50th anniversary version. Got the Legacy right here, the symbol here. Also, still letting you know this is official product by having the Tamashii Nations logo here, Bruce Lee logo, which is its own official trademark, and the Bandai logo. So this is a very awesome collab. And what I also like about the special touch on this box is the front of the box is embossed. Like, it's very nice. The feel of this thing is pretty much premium. It's really nice. On the side here, let me get my camera a little more arranged properly. So at the front, you still have your nice little window here. My camera focus, but you have a really nice window still letting you in, letting you see the inside of the contents of the box. You got a few extra heads here that you can see. You got the nice little base stand that comes with this guy. And of course, on the rear on the left, you get the little plastic where the figure pretty much comes into play. You still have your Tamashii Nations quality seal sticker, SS Figuarts logo at the top, let you know this is the real deal, Bandai Namco. So let's turn this box to the side. You still have some really nice premium embossing going on. As you can see, look at that nice reflective hue to it. It's real nice and glossy. It's got Bruce Lee at the bottom of the silhouette of the figure. At the back, you have some nice pictures, especially, pretty much showing you what this figure can do. Now, even though this figure came out in 2016, I do want to point out, since I've had this guy in my collection for the past 3 years, he has been phenomenal. Now, most people, they'll look at the scope as out of date, and I'll get more in touch with that. But as you can see here, you can do a lot to pretty much be Bruce Lee figure form. Like, they really paid homage to this man, and I really appreciate that. Top of the box here, you still have your open window that pretty much flows into the front of the box. You have your SS Figuarts logo, and again on the right side, you have your Bruce Lee logo as well, letting you know again that this is the Legacy 50th version, or anniversary version. Now, the original, the only difference is it doesn't come with the base stand, and I don't have that original figure. I just have this version. But the only difference is it just comes with the base, and it just has the Legacy 50th anniversary logos all over it. Pretty much same figure, it's just repackaged with a little bit extra. That's about all. At the bottom, now it may not be as pretty as your SS Figuarts box in the Dragon Ball line or any other anime line, but at the bottom, you still can do, like I mentioned always before with the boxes, you still can lay it on, book style like so, lay it on the shelf like so, but you don't get that nice picture art. You still get a nice picture of Bruce Lee, his name, and what version it is. You got your Tamashii Nations pretty much website information if you need any, more products or anything like that. But as far as the box, pretty straightforward. I like the art style they took with the box, but let's get the contents out of the box. Let me get all that set up, and I want to show you guys exactly what all comes to this guy. Okay, guys, got the clamshell out of the box. So let's go over the accessories that come with this guy. So you get 3 additional face scopes, as you can see up here. You get some additional hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 additional pairs of hands with an additional, pretty much a thumbs up that he likes to do. And this is if you pretty much know Bruce Lee. I won't say know him because man's been gone for 50 years now. But got his nice nunchucks, got his nice staff, and I guess you'd call these batons. So some really nice range of accessories. And on top of that, like I mentioned before, you get this really nice base. And what I do like is not just a solid piece of plastic. You can actually have Bruce Lee put up on pretty much one of those base supports. If you want to have him suspending in the air, you can pretty much take out these plastic pegs. And I do like that, incorporate that like so, and you get 4 of them. So you can pretty much choose where you want to position your figure. And of course, you don't have to use Bruce Lee specifically for this base plate. You can use this for whatever figure you want. Put that back in. And in my last video, I did mention I was going to try to show the instructions in my videos a lot more. The only thing that I personally will not do is, and I'm sorry guys, just letting you know in advance, I will not be opening up, both tabs on my boxes if the instructions are on either side of the tabs. But if they come out like this, like a sheet, yeah, I'll take them out, do a little quick, once over with it. But yeah, you do have some instructions showing what you can do with the figure, how to pretty much put the weapons with Bruce Lee in his hands, things of that nature. So I like that. I like that they include these little paper instructions like this. You get the hand descriptions, pretty much all the parts that come in there. It's just really nice. So it's a lot that comes with this guy. So he just wasn't thrown in a box with a few things just to get a quick cash grab or anything like that. The quality of everything, it's been pretty good. But what I now want to do is I want to go a lot more in depth with the details of the accessories that you guys see here, as far as like the hands, the face plates, especially the weapons, and the figure himself. So I'm gonna get the accessories out of the package and let's go over the details of the figure. Okay, so I have the figure back out here himself, and what I want to do in this section of the video is just carefully go over the details of this figure and just how good of a scope did they do in relation to the real life person that is Bruce Lee. So starting out, let's look at just the overall, look of this guy. From first appearance, it actually looks really nice. I like how they've actually painted the plastic and not just cheaped out and just left it like a tan plastic. There's a lot of attention to detail going on in this guy. I'll bring him a little bit closer. I like how they've actually incorporated a little bit of shading going on so you can see the contrast in the muscles and the skin tone. And one thing I like about this figure is the paint is really good as far as reference to a real life skin color, as best they can figure form. And yes, there are other, toy manufacturers out there that can do an even better job than this. But for what this figure is and the price that he was going for, even back in 2016, because he was around, it was like $60, $70 compared to now, which is still about between 80 retail to about $100, in the secondhand market, which still isn't bad, especially with all the accessories that you get. But looking at the muscle striations, because Bruce Lee wasn't a big guy at all, but he was still very much in shape for his time. And they've incorporated all that, so you can see his slight traps here, triceps, you can see his biceps, pretty much his forearms, all the definition. You can even see the vein that they've sculpted into this man's forearm on the right arm. Isn't that cool? Even over here, you can see the veins. They didn't have to go this far. You can see his abs, just a freaking amount of detail that is in it. His back, You can see pretty much, you know, it's even sculpted this little spine and everything. That's freaking cool. But yeah, the face, it's really good. Like, this is Bruce Lee. I like how they sculpted the hair. And another thing is, I do want to go over the other face plates. Like, look there. No, they're not the best. You know, these they're definitely, like I said, modern face plates are a lot better than this. But this is still pretty good. It does look a little off, but you can still tell this is Bruce Lee. And we have his side eye, still really good. I like the eyes and everything. Now, my least favorite faceplate, and I feel like they could have done a lot better, and this was a little creepy, is his yelling face. This is my least favorite one, and you guys can probably see why, and you can, of course, make your own, you know, opinion on this. But I just do not like this. This could have been done so much better. It just looks horrible, in my opinion. But other than that, back on the figure, I like how there's actually some matte finish going on the pants. It's not just a glossy black, and it goes all the way around, even on the socks. Like, everything's nicely painted and textured. Like, even though there's a nice little finish of matte on the pants, it doesn't feel like it's going to rub off or anything like that. Even on the sash here, the belt, well, where the pants goes up in, all nice. Especially, one thing I want to touch on real quick is the paint. Even though this is highly painted, it's a highly painted figure, it doesn't feel like, and I've had this guy for a little over 3 years now, and the paint it's holding true. It isn't peeling off or anything like that. And I don't have this guy in a crazy spot, but it's doing really good. Onto the hands real quick. Even the hands are nicely painted, and you can still see the veins that are coming out in this man's fist. And this is the pretty much the gripping hand. Pretty much grip the his staff and his other weapon accessories, like so, and the nunchucks. We even have his open palm hand. Still has the nice vein details on it and the nice paint to match the rest of the body tone wise. All just great details here. And his iconic finger pose here that he does, especially from the movie Into the Dragon. And the nice little thumbs up. And this was an iconic move for him too, because like, oh, you challenging me? You what? Kick to the face. Even the weapon accessories from the staff, like, this doesn't feel like cheap plastic. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break anything like that. This in the shot a little bit better. Yeah, it doesn't feel flimsy. It doesn't feel like it's gonna snap if you're trying to play with anything like that. This is really good quality plastic. Same thing for the little batons. I guess what you call these weapons. And another little thing I want to point out, and they could have cheaped out on this. They could have just left this like, you know, a little cheap silver plastic. No, this is an actual chain link that they've crafted on the nunchucks. Now, the nunchucks themselves are the same plastic as the other weapons that he uses. But this is a cool little detail that they like to include it. Like, they did not skip out on this guy. And why should you? It's freaking Bruce Lee. But as far as the details, guys, this guy is amazing. You know, it's paying homage to an iconic, legendary person as Bruce Lee. You cannot mess this up, and I'm glad that they didn't. So, without further ado, I want to get into the articulation of this figure. And even though the details of this guy are really good, let's see how good he can actually mimic just how athletic Bruce Lee was. Okay, guys, for this section of the video, we're going over the articulation with this Bruce Lee figure. So, let's see just how good he can do a T-pose. And unfortunately, he can only go this far up. Does he still have that 360 arm rotation? Yes, he does. On the right arm, same as well. But one thing I've noticed, even though he can't come up all the way they've incorporated the butterfly joints here, as you guys can see, he still has a really good range of motion when pushing his arms out as so. So he's definitely got some good wingspan going on here with his arms. At least going out side to side instead of going up and straight up traditional T-pose. But get this camera a little more adjusted here. There we go. Now, as far as ab crunch, he does have a little bit. It's not the best, but get this in a better camera here. There we go. As you can see, it's not the best. And what's pretty much helping with this is the waist articulation. And he can do a full 360 with the waist. He does have a little bit of side-to-side swivel in the upper chest. There is a little bit of twist going on to get a little more range of motion. Head articulation is actually really good, and it's on a simple ball. We say pretty much a dumbbell, neck peg here, or a ball peg. And the head sits in a socket, you guys can see. And one thing I want to mention real quick, changing out the face plates with the head scope isn't too bad at all. It's just a simple 3-peg system. You got 2 little tiny pegs here at the bottom, a big slot here. You can just line it up with the holes, and you just pretty much pop it right back in. Put his head back in, and it's real smooth, as you guys can see. So if you don't want to pop the face plate on the head while it's on the body, you can easily just pop this off real smooth. And I do like that. Like, it feels real nice. It doesn't feel like you're going to break the figure or anything like that. Get this face plate back on. Now, I have noticed some of them are a bit tight. You just have to make sure it's lined in properly and just push in. But as you guys saw, he does have a full 360 head spin, so you can get some really good head range of motion. The neck, on the other hand, isn't the best at all. There's only a little bit of range going on with that neck movement, as you guys can see. A little bit. But it does rotate, in a full 360. There's a lot of pivot going on here. Now, as far as the bicep swivel, I won't say swivel, but rotation, he can rotate that bicep in a full 360 technically, but as you guys saw, I would not advise it because just the way the bicep is sculpted on this Bruce Lee figure, it will get caught in the back of the shoulder here. So you do get some good range, but you can do a full 360, but just don't do that because you end up forcing it and you could possibly break the arm at the forearm where it's connected to the shoulder. So if you do want to try it, do be warned and do be careful. It can do it. Same thing on the left arm here. And mine's a little tight because I rarely move the arm in that manner. Plus it's painted. So a lot of times you get this stuff out of the package and it's painted and it's just stuck. Elbow. He does have your traditional double elbow joint. And he can actually bring his forearm pretty back really good. As you guys can see, that forearm is actually touching his bicep all the way. It's real good. That's what you want with such a figure, especially it's trying to mimic such an athletic real life person. First of all, like Bruce Lee was extremely athletic and just really flexible for his time. On to the legs. Now, there isn't much going on with the bottom abdomen here. Well, it's abdomen. Can't think of my body parts right now. Now, it does have that old cup style that I actually do not like, but I understood what they were trying to do with this particular design. It does not have any soft plastic as modern SS Figuarts figures do. This is hard plastic. Although, there is... Oh, I stand corrected. There is a little bit of soft plastic going on. It's not hard, but it's not too soft either. Now I'm touching it. It does give you just a little bit of extra range when pushing the leg in the back. But He cannot, unfortunately, do a full splits, which it's strange that they did not, have this figure do full splits. Let me get the camera. Sorry about that. Get the camera situated here. But no, it's very strange because Bruce Lee in real life can easily do a splits. This man can freaking straight up do this while, laying down, straight up do it into a push up, and then literally, go into a handstand. Like the amount of core strength this man had was insane, especially, for his size. But it is, a bit disappointing that they didn't fix the articulation. They could have. And what's holding it back is the cup design because they were trying to make the pants flush. But that's what's holding it back. He still can do a really nice high kick, so that's good. Kick going forward is actually pretty decent. It could be better. It is being limited by the way the bottom of the hips are cut here. Same thing on the right leg. You guys can see. As far as knee joint, it does have a double knee joint. And it could be worse. It's not the best, but it still looks pretty good. Does get some good range, and he can bring his the back of his calf all the way to the back of his thigh, as so. Same thing on the left leg. And I say it doesn't look the best because there is a split going on, so it's two parts, as you guys can see. But it still looks pretty nice for what they were trying to go for. They were trying to make this as flush as possible and aesthetically pleasing. Down to the feet. Unfortunately, he does not have that much foot range when going up and down, as you guys can see. This could have been incorporated a little bit better, but I do see what they were trying to go for as well. They were trying to make at least, even his ankles, pretty flush and aesthetically pleasing, but you can have the foot go in and out, as you guys can see, as a tilt, give you some more posing range. He does have some really good toe swivel. And it does go in that far. Get back down. And another thing I want to point out, you guys, and it could be a bit strange, especially how the regular Dragon Ball line or other figure lines have, regular wrist pegs. This one is more of a stick peg. Now it does kind of hinder a bit of the, wrist rotation a little bit, movement. Like he can't put his hands, in and out like so pretty freely, but he can rotate his hands in a full 360 rotation as so. And even though it's a stick peg as and such, it does not hinder you putting on other pegs or anything like that. Just like the thumb, it comes on really smoothly. And it doesn't feel like it's going to break anything like that. So really good. I'm going to show that off real quick. All right. But yeah, as far as articulation, you can get this guy in some really nice stances, get some really good shots, and he's very balanced. And that's what you want in a figure depicting pretty much an iconic, star as Bruce Lee. Just want to apologize in advance for the construction that's outside. It's just ramping up out there. I've been trying to work around that in my area. But moving on to my final thoughts, guys. So before I pretty much wrap up this video, I just want to pretty much go over my final thoughts of this figure for you guys. So if you're a huge Bruce Lee fan, like myself, or you know of this man, you've seen his movies, and you're thinking, I really want a Bruce Lee figure, but I don't want one too big. I want one that's, also, decently priced. I say get this guy. You can still get the original, but if you're going to get this particular iteration of Bruce Lee from the movie Into the Dragon, get some, because it comes with the base stand, and the paint is a little more up to date compared to the older one from what I've seen. But On top of that, you get all these nice accessories that come with this figure, and the quality of this guy is actually really good for the price that you pay for him. On top of that, what I also like is the nice box design, and I know that's one thing that some people don't really care about, but I like how if you're an embossed collector, you can still have a really nice box to put on your shelf. But as far as like articulation, poses, and things like that with this guy, phenomenal. My only thing, and there's a lot of pros that outweigh the cons. My biggest con is this guy not being able to do the full splits, because that's one of Bruce Lee's staples. The man is extremely flexible and athletic. The man could do a lot in his time. Like, and I know probably like newer generation of viewers probably don't really know too much about Bruce Lee. Probably seen some kung fu moves like, oh, that's fake. Bruce Lee was the real deal back in the pretty much his time. And I'm gonna say like mid '60s, early '70s before his passing in '73. This guy was a legend, and to have this really nice figure form, this is my personal grail right here. It's just how much of a fan I am of this man. But if you can get this guy for a decent price, your own budget, you've been looking for something like this, I say get him. We'll say it again. I say get him. But without further ado, guys, I won't hold you much longer. I appreciate if you stayed all the way to the end of the video. Stay tuned to pretty much see like my pose things that I do with my figures at the very end of the video. Also want to remind you guys that I do have a Discord server up that I've created, and all it's for is to pretty much have my viewers have a discussion, about the figures that they have or upcoming figures, any figure news, anything that you guys want to talk about. And it's just a safe place to do so. I know Reddit and like other forums can be a bit toxic sometimes to other users, but I welcome you guys to come join me and let's talk about things. Especially like talking about, little Bruce Lee figures and things like that. Some of the stuff kind of goes on the radar, like gets released and then it gets forgotten about in time. But it's pretty much the basis of what that Discord server is for. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you. Until the next time, I'll see you in the next video. Y'all take care.